people, CzarThwomp here, and welcome to episode 55 of the Greatest Attorney 2 Resolve. Last time, we proved that there was a very strong possibility that instead of the candelabrum being shot at with the gun that was used to kill Gregson, instead, basically, it was blown up with a firecracker time bomb that was basically created to make it look like a gunshot had gone off, but actually it hadn't. And then we basically tied that red hair piece that was found on Gregson to the redheaded leak. So now we're going to be cross-examining basically the both of them.
No, Capo, leave it to me! As you can see, we both have the famous red hair. No? At school, we were teased for this without pity. The Capo here, he was many times here in the schoolhouse, crying like the Trevi fountain. We, those dogs, one day they would respect us redheads. It will have my day of retribution when the wicked harlots, they pay for not copulating with the Capo. Every night he would bury his head in his pillow and a whip for his...
Fabien and Peppino, enough! I will explain the rest. The first step was the newspaper advertisement. About 1 week before the plan was put into operation, we listed the same notice in every paper in London. Yes, we saw that notice. It was this one, I believe, entitled to the Redheaded League. Oui, c'est ça. I am honored that you have seen it. It states that the only condition for joining the league is having flame-colored hair, and that if you satisfy the interview panel and are admitted to the league, you could receive a weekly income of £4. On the date specified, redheaded hopefuls gathered in droves at the park, specified in the advertisement, and from each person present, this pair took an application fee of 5 shillings. And with the money, to friends! It was a plan most elegant, no? No, it was most dishonorable. But to be frank, I'm stunned anybody was foolish enough to be taken in by such an obvious trick.
The park was described by one witness as choked with red-headed folks, like a coaster's orange borrow.
And the day on which all these men gathered to apply was the day before the victim was discovered. Crucially, these two men spoke face-to-face with every single person present that day. I have seen more red-headed people in one day than I have seen in the rest of my life.
See, and now every time I see the Capo there, I feel sick to my stomach.
Anyways, why have we been summoned here today? Sorry? The date of our trial was not until tomorrow, I was told. Naturally, neither of these two men have been told any details about this trial. They've only been shown this photograph. Very good. So, Mr. DeRusso and Mr. DeRossi, you will now give your formal testimony for the court on the subject of the gentleman pictured in this photograph. Of course, we are always ready to help with the law. We had more than 1,000 red-headed people assembled in the park on Lime Street that day.
But I don't recall the man in this photograph. My Capo?
None. I don't remember him. Obviously, he is dead now, but I assure you, he was not in the park.
Allora, these victims have nothing to do with us.
You have a lot to answer for, Peppino. It is your fault that we got caught in the first place. You've given a sworn testimony that this man in the photograph was not present. Can you be certain? I am quite certain. We did not interview this man.
Nobody looking like this came to the park, this I can promise.
It must be noted that you have been arrested for a grand deception, however. Accordingly, this court has little confidence in your assurances.
Opa, what is this attitude? We get nowhere, huh?
He's really a sulking now. This confidential document was obtained directly from Scotland Yard. It records an entry from the inspector's private diary dated the day before the incident. And it states, and I quote, "She's always watching me. She's always watching me. God help me, why is she always watching? I can't take it anymore. Save me, save me. Get rid of her. Her ladyship will be the death of me." It reads Line Street, Red End League, Undercover.
Ah, I have an answer! Maybe there was another similar event in the park on that day in question, eh?
That is ridiculous. We would have run them out of town. There's no question that Inspector Grayson was investigating the Redhead League, which means it's quite possible it's when he was killed. Very well, the defense may proceed with the cross-examination now. Ah, yes, my lord. Okay, I believe that this is you gotta press the fourth one, but I will press it. Okay. Yeah, I know that it's one of their statements. I look like he has like a little twirl jump. Okay. 1,000 people? Well, that's a very big crowd. It was quite a spectacle. Red dance had come from all over the capital.
See, the capo here, he was a magnifico animal, eh? Nobody else could attract so many people. If I could be born again, I would be the capo.
You scare me, Peppino. All those people wanted was the money, Peppino. All £4 per week. Are you suggesting that you spoke personally with all 1,000 applicants? Oui, that we did, because every one of them paid us 5 shillings.
We take the names and we take the money, and then we take the reduces as well so we can rob the houses. Then I tell them we are take some days to let them know by a post, a finito, maybe a 2 minute a person. We start early in the morning and we stop late in the night.
So, you earned 5,000 shillings in one day. That's a small fortune. Who'd have thought there were 1,000 such gullible redheads in London to start with? One of whom was a great detective with chemically altered hair.
Hold it!
He doesn't look at all familiar.
No, I don't think so, and this was a wig, He was trying to trick us. I do not like the people who are trying to trick the other people.
Says the con artist. In between them, they interview 1,000 people with red hair. It would be unreasonable to expect them to remember every face.
No, senor. I miss me small. But my memory is very large. I never forget a thing.
Out of curiosity, how old are they? Okay, yeah, I just wanted to check their ages.
In my opinion, I do not think that this man was in the park.
Well, he's not going to get in the court definite, it seems.
Capo, you didn't see a man like this, eh?
Hold it!
But according to what you just said, you spoke with 1,000 more people that day. Oui, that's true. My eyes were burning by the end of the day. Surely then, you can't actually remember every single face. How are you so certain that this particular man wasn't present?
Normally, the redhead is very distinctive, But not when you have 1,000 redheads crowding around. That is just an eyesore. But if there was another information you could have given us, then maybe we could recall.
That is not the line, Peppino. You're going in the refrigerator now. Remember, we do not remember him. We are sure of that fact, If there was a man with a red hairpiece, but his mustache did not match the color, then I do not think I could have forgotten him. We would have thrown the trash at him, tied him on a rail, and catapulted him out of the city. Because Zuma said these two had only been shown that photograph, and they'd been told nothing else at all. What if I fed them just one other detail about the victim? For example, his fish and chips! I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair wouldn't help you remember his situation. But what if I told you that the man was always munching on a packet of fish and chips? Do you remember a man who was eating incessantly? Not really. I was looked only at the heads of the applicants. I wouldn't have noticed the fish and chips any more than the caviar and smoked salmon.
Oh, spaghetti! Me, I love me spaghetti!
Really? I had no idea. Tell them again what you said before, Peppino.
See, Capo, see! And I say it again and again.
Hold it!
Yeah, you have to say detective. I just wanted to basically see if I could get a funny thing off the fish and chips. And... okay... profession. I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair wouldn't help you remember in this situation. But what if I told you that the man in the red hair piece was actually a detective? The man in the photograph, a detective? Yes. It would appear he found your notes in the paper suspicious and decided to investigate incognito. Sorry, but this changes nothing.
Excuse me.
Something to add, Mr. De Rossi?
See, I am always adding a something, Parmesan, olive oil, pepper.
What I mean is, did you not agree with your friend's last remark by any chance?
What did he just say about the detective?
Yes, that. Keep your mouth shut, Peppino. You have said enough already.
But why, Capo? What is the problem? There was a man who said, I am an inspector from Scotland Yard. Give me my money.
What? Good lord! Order! Explain this volte-face in your testimony, witness.
It is simple. A man who was under the bar said us that he...
There was no such man!
Magdai, what are you saying, Capo? Have you ever forgotten
I have forgotten nothing. Nobody likes this game to the park.
Basta, Capo, basta. You appear to me at the many things, but not the two. The memory and the meals. Like I said, when it is time to eat the pasta, then no one is a bastard.
But you are inferior to me in every other way, so shut up.
Objection.
Troop Dad, the damage is done. Indeed it is, sir. Oui, there was the man who came to the bank and he said he was an inspector from Scotland Yard. However, he looked nothing like the man in the photograph. He was someone else. How can you be so sure? Because, to start with, his face was completely different.
See, it is true. The man who came was a younger. His face was a clean shaven. His eyes were a southern. His chin was a thinner.
No resemblance whatsoever then. Anyways, I was not going to be fooled. I took the obvious precaution and said to him, if you are really a detective, show us the proof.
See, the capo here, he doesn't take a nonsense,
But he was well prepared. He said he had identification. Identification? You mean official police inspector's identification? That is most unconvincing. Sorry, my lord? Consul, no incognito inspector would offer his identification for inspection. It's quite out of the question. Definitely. Why would he expose his true identity? Clearly, the papers were fake.
Cazzetto, capo, you are a genius. As we say in Italia, it takes a G to recognize another, eh?
And what happened after he announced that he was a detective? He became very annoying. He said, you are under investigation. So I took his papers from him and chased him out to the park.
It was fantastico. Look, here is the identification.
So you stole it from the man?
He had it coming. He made us very scared, and then we chased after him to break his kneecaps. But he was not who he said he was.
Indeed, the person described does not appear to have behaved as a true inspector would. However, I believe it would be prudent for these identification papers to be entered into the evidence.
But I like them.
Okay, the identification has been added. No, let's return to the witness's testimony. Okay. I got this. Da 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 da. Well, I suppose we should see what this inspector's identification looks like inside. Yes, it definitely looks fake, doesn't it?
Out of interest, what name is given?
Possibly just something plucked out of the air. It's Tobias Gregson. Wait, what?
This Scotland Yard insignia looks genuine to me.
But how?
And the department identification number details are all correct as well.
Since when have you known those?
I stalk Ryunosuke.
What do you mean to say?
I know it seems incredible, but yes. I think this is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard.
But that's unbelievable. This is the real thing after all. Okay, updated. Okay.
Objection.
Boom. I'm on a roll this case. I wonder if I could ask you to examine this identification book very closely. Miss Lestrade? Why, Miss Lestrade? What is your intention here, counsel? Is this really a fake or is it genuine? That's the question, which we can't answer ourselves.
Objection.
Don't be ridiculous. No Scotland Yard detective would allow his or her identification to be stolen. But I stole the bosses all the time. That is the bosses. No question about it. I know because I stole it on a number of occasions. It can't be. As I suspected, the undercover detective who attended the Red League's enrollment on the day in question was the real Inspector Gregson, carrying out an incognito investigation. Zoo the laws! Order! But if the boss had his identification stolen, he would have reported straight away. I mean, he was always on me about it. If you lose Summit, report at once, he'd say. In that case, why didn't he report his loss of dignity? Could be then that the inspector was physically unable to report it.
Physically, what are you saying?
Unable to? You're not suggesting. Yes, it's quite possible that he was killed before he had the chance to report his identification stolen. No! Order! The defense persists that the victim was killed the day before his body was discovered at a different location. Do you two have anything to say about that?
I done nothing.
Pull yourself together, Peppino. Mon Dieu, you can behave a little more like a master criminal than that, non?
No, I wish I had returned to Italia.
So stop crying, Peppino, please. Otherwise,
Lumi, stop your whining and start talking.
Well, I believe the court will need to hear your story in considerably great detail.
I know nothing. I done nothing.
Where's the hollowed bottle when I need it? But you will tell everything, or face the worst possible outcome. You will draw your eyes and testify again about these identification papers and the precise circumstances under which you came by them. We're crying out loud. The truth is, we took him prisoner and kept him the night in our secret hideout. Even though I didn't think he was a real detective, I was too scared to let him go that day, just in case.
He took the identification from him and I shot him in the room next to ours.
There might have been a little tussle, but we did him no harm, and the next morning we let him go.
He said that the doctor in his room, it was nothing like a prison.
This is outrageous! You imprisoned the man?
But no, see, no! like a prison. He was a very comfortable and calm and happy. I capo?
It was never part of my plan. I swear it.
Uffa, so you think you the my fault, eh? Just because I got the date on the very wrong. But I just wanted to.
I do not think it was your fault, Peppino. I know it.
No, por favor, Captain. Capo, it's not fair.
You shall have plenty of time for squabbling back at the prison, gentlemen. Oof, I don't believe this. How could he have been a real detective? Counsel for the defense, proceed with the cross-examination. So, on the day before the incident, Gregson spent the night confined in this pair's hideout. Yeah, there's I have to say how this was done. Do you realize what you're saying? You have to believe me. I never intended for that to happen. And I'm sure the detective did not intend it either. Do you think? But there was nothing else I could do.
See, nothing else. That was about the time crime for the capo. He was at his wits' end to be the weeds.
I had told you before, Peppino. That is not the way to describe a criminal mastermind. What about this hideout of yours? An old empty house behind the park on Lime Street.
We rented the place for 2 days. It was inspired by an inspired idea by the capo here.
An impulsive idea, I would say.
No, not impulsive, inspired. I capo.
What am I supposed to say of that, huh, Peppino? And it was how to describe that you confined Inspector Gregson, was it? Oui. But you have to remember, I was under the impression that he was a pretender, not a real inspector. That doesn't quite add up, though. If you didn't think the man was a real inspector, there would have been no reason to take him prisoner, would there? Though, are we just going to ignore the method of how this was done? I mean, how would they have overpowered him? Because really, I don't think these guys would have that much experience with with direct kidnapping. I think they hire some street stars to do the kidnapping for them. I don't think that Peppino. What they do? Did Peppino just jump on Gregson's back and just start smacking him like some sort of deranged circus monkey? Forgetting the names. Well, basically, Fabien just rushed up there with some burlap sack, and then they just pushed him away. No, you are right, but we couldn't completely certain.
Hold it!
Too scared? Why? Because why he had come to my park, we didn't know. There was a chance that he had seen through my plan.
And if that wasn't the case, he would go straight to the police station to blow the whistle on us. Even if it was just a little friend feigning to be an inspector, he would have no good without the data.
I think most people would agree that it's you two who are up to no good.
Well, see, you may be right. I capo.
The point is, we were not able to escape from England immediately. That is why we had no choice but to take the man prisoner. What I don't understand is why the inspector felt the need to show you his identification in the first place.
See, I asked myself the same question.
We were writing down the names and addresses of all the people who we took 5 shillings from that day. I had forgotten what name he said, but the address, it startled me.
See, address Scotland Yard, homicide division, he said.
What? He probably didn't like your face, Peppino. Anyways, I was not rude, I just politely asked him why he had said that. And that's when he started to say he was an inspector. Not long afterwards, he took out his identification. What was Inspector Grayson playing at? Tell the court what happened next. You took him back to your hideout, you say?
See, we did.
Hold it!
That being this identification book here, correct?
See, that is the one.
That made you believe that it was a forgery?
I never seen a real one, of course. But he was so suspicious, this man. Allora, I was thinking, it must be a falso, capo?
Oh, oui, it is just as Peppino has said. We were convinced it was not genuine.
And so together, the hilarious brothers, we took the man captive.
All we did was shove him inside a locked room. Then we made preparations to transfer all of the money. In for a penny, in for a pound.
Hold it!
What do you mean by a little tussle exactly? Both. It was nothing. Just a minor incident.
The false inspector, he was a real piece of work, capo.
What happened?
Oof, it was a disaster. We gave him a nice room, and what did you do? In the middle of the night, he tried to escape through the ventilator.
Can you blame him? We chased him, bien sûr, and we caught him again. Yeah, now I'm imagining some horror game. He plays Gregson, and you gotta escape through the air vents while avoiding these two guys. You get jump scared if you fail.
Can you blame us?
Wait, you didn't. Shoot the man in your haste, did you? Dude, what do you think we are? Of course not. I simply caught hold of him again and took him back to the room.
Excuse me.
Mr. De Rossi, is there something wrong?
Hey, me?
Something Mr. De Rousseau just said seemed to make you, well, it seemed to make you act even more strangely than usual. What was that all about?
I'm telling you no orgasm from the spaghetti. Come on, Lord, times like that. You don't know what down the couple after you believe me. And I speak out of my personal experience.
Personal experience? That's enough, Peppino. There is no need to say more.
The truth is, the night before we put the red leak plan to action, I was scared. It was not fair to the couple, but I tried to run away.
It's a shame you didn't manage it.
But the couple here, he came after me like a turbine, and he dragged me back to the house, kicking and screaming. And I said the bruise to prove it, capo.
Bruises, you say?
You want to see my fantastical bruises?
That's enough now, Peppino. No one wants to look at any part of you.
What do I do? I show you or I don't. I show you or I don't.
You do now.
I know what I really want to see, then I do it. Let's go, you see? It's a scene of very visible,
That red ring around your neck. You got when you were dragged back to the house?
See, the capo sometimes is very rough, and
I said that's enough. Peppino's neck is nothing to do with this we are talking about here. You have my word. Yes. What is your opinion, counsel? About this red ring around Mr. De Rossi's neck. I wonder, does it matter? It is important. Mr. De Rossi, I'm going to have to ask you to amend your testimony with details about the mark around your neck.
hey, capo, you see? Everyone's interested in what I have to say,
Very well, you will amend your testimony as requested, Mr. De Rossi.
See, if you really want to know.
Yeah, just...
He tried to escape, but the capo put a collar on him and dragged him back, like what he did to me, see? And then he looked at me, he tried to turn him into a femboy.
Shut up, Peppino!
It's a truth, the capo was a femboy, hell him! It is a dream.
Hold it!
Are you saying that red mark was caused by...
See, a big collar made from the leather.
a leather collar? I love just the juxtaposition between basically the petty criminals from the fifth case of the first Grace Attorney game and the criminals from this one, because basically in the first Grace Attorney game, the petty criminals are painted off as being just relatively menacing. They shot Sherlock. They could have killed him. basically they were cloaked in shadows, but then it's revealed that they were pretty much harmless. And then this game, just you're given the impression that Fabien and Peppino, they're relatively harmless, just nothing wrong, they're just in the zany redhead league scam. And then it's revealed that Fabien is basically just this Hugh Neutron sociopath who basically who drags people back with collars, kidnaps people, and just is doing all sorts of questionable things. Is that true, Mr. DeRusso? What? We had a sentimental knot at home when I was younger. It is a souvenir from that time with a very strong chain. A strong chain. And you put that around your friend's neck? I had to transform him into the fanboy. I'm sorry, I was so angry that he was leaving me alone.
You did not have to tie the chain to the leg of a pet, I would not have tried to run again.
You didn't do that to Inspector Craig as well, did you? Frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if Iris did that to him at least once.
Treat people equal is the campus here motto, eh?
It's startling to sound a lot more like a prison all of a sudden.
The campus are tough, but the campus are rough.
Okay, I am starting to fear Fabien. I shouldn't have done it. So, the following morning when you released the inspector.
He has a red thing around his neck, just like me.
Peppino, s'il vous plaît, leave it now.
Now you know it, the company here, you don't want to tangle with him, but not for the inspector, is not so bad.
Okay, now I'm starting to form a funny headcanon. Okay. Okay. Yes, at this point we gotta get we gotta basically present the photograph.
Objection.
So the day before his body was discovered, Inspector Gregson was taken prisoner while working incognito. No, it was not like that. It was only a bizarre. It was an invitation to stay forever. It was only. However you describe it, there's one glaring inconsistency that remains. What inconsistency is that, counsel? I would ask the court to look closely at this photograph of the victim, Inspector Gregson. Now you will see there's no red ring around his neck.
But that makes no sense. It was me who took the collar off the man in the morning. And I saw the red bruises on his neck, just like I have.
Given that the mark is still clearly visible on this witness's neck, we'd expect to see bruising on the victim, who was put in the collar more recently than Mr. Rousseau. Indeed, that is most peculiar.
What did I tell you, We said this from the beginning. Many times.
Oui, Peppino is right. The man the photograph, he's so different to the man we had captured that night! Order! It would appear then that on the day before the incident, the man who visited the park on Vine Street posing as an incognito inspector was not Inspector Gregson at all. If that's true, however, how do you explain the inspector's identification? We'll answer that next episode. Anyways, I really appreciate that you stuck around to watch this episode. You're a great viewer, and I hope you come out for the next one. If you like this video, like, subscribe, comment, share, do whatever you want. With that, I'll see you next time. Bye.